I don't cry when it rains no more, or I get dirt on my shoes. I don't mind climbing 8 more floors, 'cause these stairs are all heading to you. I don't wait for tomorrow's sunshine when I feel it today. And when it's cold in the dead of winter, remember that snow melts away. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance for the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. We don't need plans or a fancy agenda. Let's just see where it goes. We got no care for the way people stare at the dust and the dirt on our clothes. Hey, my friend, we'll never say
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Cajun Cooking Experience. Man, we got a good one tonight. It's summertime. What do people grow a lot of? Squash. What makes a really good dish? Squash. What don't we cook enough of? Squash. So this time on the Cajun Cooking Experience and Spuddy's Cajun Foods, we're gonna live stream cooking this squash. We have yellow squash and we have white squash. We'll talk about the difference between the two. And you know, it's just a matter of preference, what you like and what you don't like. But you know something, at the end of the day, it's all gonna be good. There's many varieties of squash out there. What'd you say, Lucian? Happy 4th, my brother. There's a lot of different varieties of squash out there that have evolved over the years. But you know, at the end of the day, they're all good. So it's just a personal preference of which one you like. Hey, Lucy, I see you on YouTube, and let me know how that picture is. So, and if anybody doesn't know, we are live on YouTube right now. Supposedly, there's a better picture. It's on Spuddy's Cajun Foods YouTube page. And if you go there, like it and subscribe to it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start off cooking these onions. Okay. And all right, Lucy said it's a good picture. For those of you who want to try, give it a try. But you know one thing about squash, it's one of the oldest cultivated crops that we have. They're thinking it's originated in Mesoamerica, particularly around the modern day Mexico, somewhere up in there. So all of South America is where you would have started with these squash. It would have been a wild squash, probably a little different than we're picking today. The evidence has it that it actually started as far back as 12,000 years ago. And say around the Ecuador area where they would have found seeds, okay? So this is a crop that goes way back. And the people, the natives that have been living there at that time, will talk about how important the squash was to them. Now, there's so many ways you can cook this squash. We can have ground meat here. We can actually have shrimp, crab, anything that you want to put in it. But I'm going to show you, if I can get my little camera to work here, what we're going to use tonight. So what I've got some good stock. I baked the turkey this week. No, I'm not putting gizzards in it, Lucy. I baked the turkey this week. So I'll save some of the stock, okay? Then we've got some andouille. I've got some of that turkey dog meat here I'm going to throw in it. Like I said, you can put anything. I've got shrimp, the bell peppers, the mushrooms, the shallots. So one thing, when we get here, we're not going to put a whole lot of this. Why? Because we don't need a lot of celery. Not in this. Because I'm so upside down because of this camera. And we're going to go back the way I right side up. I can do a show upside down and flip it back. No, actually, the way I have my camera right here, I've been working in the studio all day, so the camera's actually coming in a bad angle. The first thing we're gonna do is cook down these onions. But I didn't realize I was upside down. Oh, Bobby, got a bulldog in the house. Go ahead, brother. I mean, you know, Bobby, we just finished all the baseball season. Now we get ready to get into the football season. I don't know if them dogs are gonna be like this year, man. They've been having some good teams. Now, I'm gonna bring in a little bit of celery, and I'm gonna bring in my andouille. Now, I'm not gonna bring that turkey in yet. That turkey is pretty well cooked. I mean, I'm eating it, so it's cooked all the way. If I bring it in right now, it's just gonna fall apart in there. If you don't mind it falling apart, bring it in. So we're gonna fry that andouille down, and I'm also gonna bring a little bit of this shrimp in. If you know the way I cook, I love to bring a little shrimp in and just let it cook. Just let it cook and fall apart in the dish. It's gonna give a good, a good like stock, a good base to this dish. And the white squash, this one here, I got from my buddy Turkey Neck. He bought me some last Thursday. And something he told me, and I'm gonna show y'all in a little while. He said his grandmother used to take this squash and split it, scoop it out, cook it down, and bring it back into the shell. And then put some breadcrumbs on it, a little butter maybe, and then bake it in the oven. Kind of like a stuffed bell pepper. And I'm thinking, that's pretty damn good. What'd you say, Roland? We're cooking a little squash tonight, brother. We got some yellow squash and we got some white squash. Both of them really good. Hey, Trey. Let me lower my fire a little bit. These 200,000 BTUs are kicking my butt under here. So we want to keep smothering this down. Now I'm also gonna bring my mushrooms in. I like to let them cook down real good. Now look, you know, y'all know I'll bring a lot of vegetation in. You don't have to bring this much. Put what you like. Since, you know, we're cooking vegetables, you could just bring in onions and shallots if you want it, or some bell peppers. You can bring in anything you want. I just like to bring all these vegetables in just to get the most out of this dish. But like we were saying, so, hey, Don, teach us Texans. You got it, brother. Hey, man, I love teaching. Now you hit my heart. But, you know, you got the squash that goes back 5,000 to 8,000 years, so like 8,000 BC. And so that's a long, long time. And then these yellow squash come in two kinds. We have the straight neck or we have the gooseneck. The gooseneck are just, like it says, it has a gooseneck. It'll be a little bigger. Then, and the one thing about these yellow squash, they have a tender skin and a creamy white flesh with a mild flavor. You can cook the skins in these, and which I've done. So a lot of the white squash, I put the skin on, but if I use the skin on the white squash, I want them small. Some of the bigger ones, it'll take too long to cook that, so I won't use it. All right, we're just gonna cook this down, and I'm gonna try something a little different tonight. I'm gonna go ahead, once I smother this down, I'm gonna add a little flour to this. Why? Y'all know when you throw the squash in, squash throws a lot of water. I wanna try to tighten it up a little bit. So I'm gonna give a little bit of flour just as a foundation. I've never done this before. So you're seeing this first time live. I figured, what the hell, if it don't work, somebody got a hungry dog. But I guarantee it's gonna work. Now I'm gonna bring these bell peppers in. And you can see I have those different colors. Let's take a look inside that pot now. Okay, you see all the colors in this pot. And then compared to past shows, I need to know if this looks better. I have a different camera shooting into the pot, so let me know if this looks better. I've been doing a lot of experimenting this week. And what we want to do, you look down in this pot, you can see it's starting to make a little gravy down here. This is what I want. This is one of the things, and this is going to take a little time to get me back now. Some reason getting back to the main camera takes a little time. We'll be back. Okay. So what I found is when you sit here and just take your time and slow cook these vegetables and you build that little gravy, you add a little something to the flavor. Yes, it's better color. Thanks, Lucy. Bobby, very clear. Thank you, brother. Roll it. Looks great. Thank you, brother. It's a different camera. It's a better camera. I had these little video cameras that I was using, and I found the colors weren't coming through. So I've upgraded my cameras, all of them. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in a little bit of this turkey stock. What I call bringing a little loving. Now I got to watch. I don't want to bring in too much water. If I bring too much water in here, what's going to happen? When I throw the squash in, we're going to lose it. Okay? Now, where does the word squash come from? Now, y'all, I'm going to butcher this. I had to write this down. Comes from the Narragansett Native American word, akutashquash. Askutashquash, which means eaten raw, uncooked. Told y'all I was going to butcher that, but it actually means eaten raw, uncooked. And this was a really important crop to the Native Americans. The earliest squash that were actually harvested probably had a very hard shell. And it could be squash, it could be pumpkin. Remember, pumpkin is a type of squash. And we're going to talk more about that later because pumpkin, some people didn't like it and they wound up saving their life. But that squash was more valued for the resilience and storage capabilities than it was to be eaten, because they could take that and scoop that out and use it as a vessel. Scoop it out and eat the flesh. It actually means to stay away from the foot of an elephant. All right, brother. Thank you, Ricky. Hey, I can't talk a lot of different languages. Hey, Terry. So that vessel was valued because they could use it to store stuff, and also they could use it to bake in it. Key parts of Native American tribes were the three sisters, the corn, the beans, and the squash. That crop right there, it had a meaning to them. And squash, that's why squash played such an important part. The nutritional value was the corn was for the carbs. So you grew that corn, and then also the beans would grow up. So you had good carbs in that corn, and you needed those carbs because you were working all day. You were hunting for your game. You were farming. So me too, Terry. So you needed them carbs. The beans gave you good protein, but they also put nitrogen in the ground. And then the squash had a lot of vitamins and minerals in it, but also it produced ground cover. They keep the grass out. You know, they weren't going around getting Roundup Ready seeds and all this. They had to keep the grass out so that squash would cover, keep the ground moist, but also, and then when you finished your crop and you chopped all that and buried it, you also wound up making a mulch and a compost that would actually give you fertilizer, because you couldn't go to the ag store and buy some fertilizer. Do you blanch and put up squash? They store good in the freezer. Yes. So I had some a couple of weeks ago I was supposed to do, and we got busy and I couldn't come on. So you could take them and blanch them and put them. What I'll do, I'll just take them out, let them dry a little bit, put them in a vacuum pack them in the bag and stick them in the freezer. That way I don't have to rush. If you're going to use them within a month or two, put them in a Ziploc bag. But if you don't know how long you're going to use them, vacuum pack them if you can. Can smell that great food coming. Randy. Oh, brother, it's coming. Randy said you can smell that stuff cooking down there. I can smell it over here too, brother. And man, is it smelling good. Now we're starting to get us a little gravy. Now I'm getting ready to bring that flour in because my stuff's cooked down pretty good. Now I'm going to bring in this white squash first. So I'm going to tell you what I did. I actually parboiled the white squash. So the yellow squash was raw. The white squash, we went ahead and I parboiled it. So when I cut it, I could scoop it out. And I'll show y'all, once I clear this board right here, I'm going to show y'all how I did it. But you can scoop it out. And then the young one like this, I would just use the seed. But they had some that were pretty big. And I didn't want to put that tough skin in there. So I just scooped it out and got rid of that skin. The yellow squash, what I did is I split it down the middle, cut it up, and put it in here like that. Some people claim that they don't like the skin of the squash. If you cook it in and blend it in, you're really not going to notice it. It has a little different texture, but this is where all your vitamins and minerals are. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the squash was just a fundamental to the diets of so many Native American tribes. It was like a survival food, really. Now, we're gonna somewhere around here, I got some flour. There you go. I'm gonna add that little flour now. I'm not gonna put much. This is like a quarter of a cup. I'm not even putting that. I'm putting half of that. I just want a little something to tighten this up. Like small pieces of gizzards. Yeah, sometimes you take the gizzards, cut them up small, Lucy. What you can do is put that in there. Some people don't like the texture of gizzards, so you cut them small. Actually, the best way to do it is grind it. Then what happens when you cut those gizzards up small and you give them to somebody that doesn't like gizzards, you forget to tell them that it's not that the gizzards in there. Okay. Now, get that little mess out the bottom here. Okay. Man, it's starting to make a nice little gravy in here. So that'll give me a little small piece of roux in here. So the yellow squash, these things right here are like a powerhouse. You know, what's up, Bones? We all sit here and we take multivitamins and we go get all these vitamins and all. But the food, if we cook food from the ground, if we cook the food that God put on earth, we're going to have everything we need. The yellow squash, man, it's loaded with vitamin C, B6, magnesium, calcium, iron, vitamin A, beta carotene, and lutein. So much of the nutrition, though, is in the skin. You have to have that skin in there. And there's so many things you can do with this yellow squash. You can roast it, which is really good if you do this in the oven. You can saute it, like we're going to do tonight. You can do casseroles, and you can also grill it on your pit if you want. So a lot of stuff you can do with this yellow squash. Okay, now we're going to start putting this in there, and we're going to start making a little gravy in here. Now I'm going to bring the white squash in first. It's a lie, Ricky. We're going to bring the white squash in first, since I actually I actually did it backwards, so let's bring the yellow squash in. That's all right, though. And this is the hardest part. I'm going to switch spoons because I can't do what I want with this spoon. I need to start flipping this bottom up. Okay. And this squash is going to start throwing a lot of water in here. That's one thing about squash, because it's probably about 80% water. And this big pot right here is going to cook down pretty much. It won't have a lot left in here. Now, the yellow squash, I had some, it was in the freezer. I didn't want to use it. So you go shopping, this is pretty reasonable. Me and my grandson, Joel, I picked him up from swimming, so we went shopping for squash after. He was all excited because he got a treat. Okay. Oh, we got a little fire going there. One thing about these towels, we won't have to worry about them flashing. Just hit it like that. Hey, Roy, I like to slice it long ways, brush some olive oil on it, and grill it over charcoal. Holy cow. So while this is coming up, let me show you what I do with the yellow squash, and we're going to put this in. As I go ahead, like Roy just said, I split it down the middle. Now, if you want to go ahead and brush some olive oil on it, and we're going to go ahead and put it in the grill or put it in the oven, this would be fantastic. This would be a really good treat. Or you can take it and slice it up like this. You can see the seeds in here. They're not very big. So this is why I like to just go ahead and put everything in, and I'll put it all in there and let it cook down. So that's one of the ways to do it. Or you can take these little medallions like this and actually put these in the oven like this or on the pit. This would be good on the skewer on the pit. Now the white squash, and look, I just learned this week. You take it, and I found it was easier to do it with the bottom instead of the stem side. Is take it and cut it. And you see the seeds are all exposed. and you take your spoon and you scoop the seeds out. Scoop the seeds out of it. And he said what his grandma would do is go ahead and then stuff this after. She would actually hollow it out. She would go ahead and just hollow it out like this and scrape all the squash out. And then you have it, then you go ahead and just restuff it after. Seeds have an enormous health benefit. You think about it. People buy pumpkin seeds all the time. You see, I wouldn't have any trouble cooking the seeds in there. A lot of people won't like it. That's why I don't do it. But for me, I can cook the seeds in there and have no problem. So this one's a small one. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in with the skin. And that was the bottom. That was actually the stem where it was. Okay. We're going to let all this cook together. So 2 different ways to cook them. Now we'll get all this stirred up. Now it's starting to cook in here. Boy, we've got, let's take a look at that pot. We got a nice gravy building in here too. Okay. Now, if you can see in the bottom of this pot, you start seeing that, you see that gravy that's building down here? Now, you know that's got to add some serious flavor to this thing. And you can see it down at the bottom. And hopefully that helps me tighten it up when it gets to where it gets to the point when we start finishing. Because one of the things, you get to the end and you still have a lot of water. And if you keep cooking it, you're going to have mush. So, okay, now we're back. Ooh, time to drink a little beer. Let me kick this fire up a little bit, get some fire going under here. So, one of the things that the Native Americans were doing is they were practicing sustainable agriculture. So these farming practices that they did, they utilized the natural strength of each crop. So what it did, there wasn't going buy any fertilizer. So they used everything natural. There was no chemicals. They had no pesticides. So they had to learn how to plant these plants together so that certain varieties kept certain bugs away, and it would also promote a soil enhancement, whatever you planted. So they were very, very smart in doing this. And I wish I knew a lot of the tricks that they use, because when you plant your own garden, you can use these same tricks. But the corn, the beans, and the squash is the one that really, I love that one. What you say, Kim? It's all good, buddy? Okay, now we're starting to get some water in here. Oh, man. This is really starting to look good. This is one. Hey, Jill. Flip it. Okay. So Columbus is the one that's credited with bringing squash from the New World back to the Old World. This would have probably, and then later on, when he brought it back, it was introduced all throughout Europe. What you say, Cousin Gail? You got Randy learning tonight? And when it got to Europe, it became a pretty popular food stores there. So people in Europe really were starting to like this. And then they were the ones that started coming up with different varieties of squash. So that, what's up, turkey neck? I got your white squash in there, brother. So they came up with the different varieties because they were always experimenting with getting different ones. What do you say, Claude? And they had the ones like squash zucchini. Zucchini is a type of squash, or what we called in St. Rose, gugutze. And a yellow squash, and that was the Italian name for it. And we had winter squash like the butternut and the acorn. So all that was being developed out there. Now, when in Virginia and New England, just cooked beef stew and they ate the whole pot. Oh, hell yeah. We're going to be doing that pretty soon too. So they had a harsh, like in Virginia and New England, they didn't like this squash. When they first started coming into this area, settling into the colonies, they didn't like this idea about the Native American squash. They really didn't like it. But one winter, there was a harsh winter. Well, that squash started looking pretty good when you had nothing to eat. And they adopted the squash and pumpkins as staples. They went from not liking them to, hey, this is pretty good stuff because we starving over here and we need it. What you say, Brian? Oh, yeah, and Millerton. There you go, Ricky. And Millerton's that Thanksgiving and Christmas time stuff. When you start getting into the fall, this weather starts changing. You start really producing the Millerton. So one of the things they would make with pumpkins was a pie. And the way the Pilgrims did it is that they would take their pie, cut it, hollow it out, and they would put apples, sugar, spices, and milk in it. And then they put the stem back on and bake it. Sounds pretty damn good. What's up, Mike? Oh, man. This stuff is really starting to smell good. Now, the squash is starting to get tender already. I ain't far from putting in the shrimp. I'll bring my shallots in. Okay. I'm going to bring it back down in the pot. Taking a front row seat. There you go, Mike. Look at that gravy that's building in there. But you see all the water this thing is storing? We're getting a lot of water in here. That's why I'm thinking that putting this little bit of flour is really going to help it. Okay, let's see if we can get me back on the screen. All right. Oh, Lord. Now, remember that turkey I was talking about? I'm going to go ahead and bring it in. Now, that's something I just happen to have some turkey meat. And we bake a whole turkey, like a 16-pound turkey, and all the dog meat. It's a pretty good bunch of meat. And I've been eating on it every day. I figure if I put it in here, it'll last longer. Hey, Sharon, same to you, baby. Happy 4th of July. All right. Oh, Lord. This is going to be good. And the squash is really starting to get tender now. So remember on that white squash, a lot of people think that white squash, the skin isn't edible, but it is. And it's a good source of nutrition. Now, some of the larger ones, like I said earlier, they may be too tough, but if you have some large ones, do like Turkey Neck told me his grandmother did. Cut it, core it out, cook the squash, bring it back into that vessel, and do whatever you do with bell peppers, restuff it with that squash. And if you bake it, that skin possibly could be edible. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just like the bell pepper. I eat the whole thing. I would do the same thing with that squash. Now, people along the River Parish, they're going to relate to what I'm getting ready to say. When my dad grew squash, he had multiple reasons for it. One was for us to eat, but we ate it with river shrimp because he had shrimp boxes out in the river. But squash that got too big or maybe rotted on the ground, not only squash, cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever he had in his garden, that would all go into a willow tree. And he would take a bucket every day when he went raising shrimp boxes, and he threw them rotten vegetables into his shrimp boxes. So you see, nothing went to waste. And every other day, he'd go raise his shrimp boxes. White squash, what we made squash cake with. Oh, Lord. And you see, I always thought you had to peel the white squash. I knew that the yellow squash, I never did peel it. Oh, man. Okay, so much for that, folks. I want to see how soft it's getting. Okay, we got a little ways to go. Even though I cooked that white squash pretty good, it's taking a little time. It's still a little tough. And that comes from those bigger ones. The smaller ones were just smushed, just kind of pretty much smashing apart. But some of the bigger ones, yeah, it would have to ball a little bit longer. It was really easy. I put them on the fire and almost forgot about them. Ooh. Now this, once you cook it down, you can take and make a casserole with it if you want it. You can take it and stuff it in bell peppers. Makes it real good with the meat because you're gonna have meat in there. You're gonna have the squash. Ricky, I like that they are bland and it takes seasoning so well. That's true, Ricky. So the squash are kind of bland. They got a little sweet taste to them. But man, if you can take, once you put your shrimp in and you put your meat in and then you add some seasonings, they really, really take it well. Kim, zucchini squash makes an awesome bread. Yes, it does. Could you fry the white squash like yellow? Turkey neck, see if you give me an answer on that. I don't know. I've never tried it, Roland. I know the yellow squash I fried without a problem. I don't know if you can do it with the white squash. I really don't. And I don't know anybody that's ever tried. But to me, if you would cut it and cut it like in little cubes, I don't see why not. I really don't see why not. But I would think you'd have to use some of the younger ones. Okay, now I'll bring some shrimp in. Now, you know, I like a lot of shrimp. And you know what the good part about it is shrimp season. So you're getting fresh shrimp. Well, yeah, Darren, when I was young, we ate most everything in the garden with river shrimp. You got that right, Mark. So if you grew up on the river, I promise you ate a lot of river shrimp. And if you didn't grow up in the river, you probably have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But the river shrimp were different. They were smaller than your lake shrimp. And they had a totally different taste. And in the head, they would have this hard fat in there. And man, that would just give it so good of a flavor. It was, if you grew up in the river, that's your favorite shrimp. Unfortunately, the rivers change, river traffic has changed, and we no longer have a lot of people with shrimp boxes. In fact, we only have one that I know of right now. And you have to stand in line if you're going to get some, and you're probably not going to get any. Okay. Now I need to start seasoning this up a little bit. A little salt. A little red pepper. Watch, this squash will take pepper really well. So be careful with your pepper. A little black pepper. And I'm going to add a little hot sauce to it. And you know, we got to have, because we're in sugarcane country and we're getting close to where it's almost time to harvest that cane in a couple months, let's give them cane farmers a little loving. Okay. Somebody asked me the other day, why you use pink salt? Because I know the difference between the salt and the sugar. And I like it. Ooh. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to taste this gravy that it's making. Now, you see, because I put a little bit of flour in, when you're going to put this in the icebox tonight, and you're going to go to eat it tomorrow, that flour is going to help bond it. It's going to be kind of stiff, which is going to make a great dish the next day. Okay. Now I'm going to taste this gravy to check my seasoning. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, man. You can taste every bit of flavor that's in this pot. Now, I'm going to tell you, that little bit of pepper I put in, I taste it. Now, last week, when I had my corporate group here for my Cajun cooking experience, I told them, season everything the way you like it. Every dish was spicy. Every one. I liked it. I thought it was awesome. But they loved that spicy. And they were all from up like Ohio, Denver, nowhere near Louisiana, but they love the spice. Wasn't hot, just had a good kick to it. See, all these chunks are cooked down. You see there's a good gravy in here. And I find this better. I looked at a couple of my past videos and I didn't put flour in there. And what I found is that it was very loose. And it would take a long time to cook all that water out. And I don't want to cook this too much. I like a little texture in the squash when I'm eating it. Now, let's take a true test of this gravy. Ooh, la, la, la. Oh, man. Oh, man. I got to put a little bit in this cup. This converting those Yankees, one at a time. You got it, Brian. Oh, Lord. Y'all, just the gravy. Just the gravy right here. You can sit there and dip bread and make an awesome meal out of this. Oh, Lord. I got to take a sip on that one. Okay. Now I'm getting ready to put a little bit in the plate. So I got a little yellow squash. And think about it. You can find squash, especially the yellow squash, in stores all the time. The most popular one, the one you're going to see the most of the yellow squash. We could be cooking this year round. Some reason, though, I don't do it. And it's not a hard dish to cook or prepare for. Like I said, if you want to take a simple way out, just use onions. Or use onions and bell peppers. You don't have to do a lot of preparation for this. But put your good meat in it. That's the most important thing. Oh, man. I got to get some of this juice with this. I could taste a little hint of smoke in it from the andouille. And all I did was I had maybe a half a pound of andouille, cut it in half, and cut it in half again, cut it in little wedges so it can spread out. So it's not a lot of andouille, but it gets a good smoke flavor. What's up, my brother George? It's been a long time. I miss you, brother. Oh. Oh, what's up, Rocky? Y'all. Now look, if you want to eat this over rice, you want to eat this over quinoa or bread, however you want, I just like to eat it like this. Hey, Melissa. Oh. I know this would go good with. What's up, Steven? Man, you got to try that. You better believe it. You know what this would really go good with? If you cook this, smothered pork chops. This would be an awesome dish with some smothered pork chops on the side. Of course, I like smothered pork chop with grits. I'll eat it with my frosted flakes. I don't care because I love some pork chop. Okay. So this is going to wrap this up. Let it cook a little bit longer. We'll take one more look in this pot before we check out. Some good smothered pork chops. You make that with a little gravy, and we're gonna do that one night. Oh, I got me some Modelo Dog George, and you can see inside that pot. You can see all the colors. Very colorful dish. Lots of nutrition in this dish. And I read something one time that if we eat natural foods like this, we have shrimp, a lot of protein, the squash, a lot of vegetation in here. If we just eat this kind of stuff every day, you won't need to go to the store and buy vitamins and herbs and all that. We've got it all in the pot. And it tastes so much better. Y'all, I'm going to be enjoying this. But listen, where's the parsley? It went bad on me. I didn't have any. I knew you was going to catch me. I knew it. When I went to get it out the cooler today, done. Breaded hamburgers, good with it too. Oh, hell yeah. Now, if anybody ever smothered some turkey necks, this would be a good dish with those smothered turkey necks. And the gravy in your smothered turkey necks, you can mix it in there. Anything. Any side dish you want, it can go with this. Like Darren said, breaded hamburgers. And that's it. That's a wrap. So we're going to call this one a night, serve it over to anything you want. It's going to be good. Okay? And something I'm going to show y'all. Give me a little time to fire up my computer here. And get this off the screen. And these are all the different kind of squash that they have out there. It's not all of them. But look at the different colors, how colorful squash is. So this is good. This is really good. And also, don't forget, go out there and like and subscribe to my YouTube station if you get a chance, okay? And with this, I'm going to leave y'all tonight. God bless y'all. Y'all have an awesome, awesome 4th of July. I tried to ask a question, but it went straight to a church. It went straight to a church service. Hilton, how you doing? I cooked some squash tonight. You have to go back and watch it. It's an awesome dish. And Sharon, before I go off, what did you asking me? I'll answer it. I'll try. But y'all, give this a try. Get you some squash. If you didn't grow any this year, I'm sure you have a neighbor, because whoever grows it, they've got too much of it. I promise you they have too much squash. And ask them. Ask them for some. But y'all, have a great 4th of July. Gonna see y'all next week. I'm probably gonna do some eggplant next week. And I'm gonna do it with some deer meat, some deer sausage. When I make deer sausage, the end of the grinder. So I'll probably do it with that and probably have a little andouille in it. I could change my mind because I do, but this is what I'm thinking, some good eggplant, some good green eggplant, long eggplant. So until next week, thank y'all. God bless y'all. Love y'all and see y'all next week.
Don't get me wrong, I love my life. These concrete walls, they city lights. What I'm about to say, it won't make no sense, but I gotta